Mr. Speaker, I move that the House suspend the rules and pass H.R. 6185, Local Courthouse Safety Act of 2012, as amended.
The clerk will report the title of the bill.
H.R. 6185, a bill to improve security at state and local courthouses.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Smith, and the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Scott, will each control 20 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days within which to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous materials on H.R. 6185 as amended, currently under consideration.
Without objection.
And, Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, I'd like to thank our Judiciary Committee colleague, Ms. Adams of Florida, for her work on this issue to make America's courthouses safer. This bipartisan, bicameral bill passed the Senate Judiciary Committee by unanimous consent last May. And before I yield to her, I do want to urge my colleagues to support this bill and thank Ms. Adams again for all of her work that brought us to this point we are here today. And I will yield the balance of my time, as much time as she might consume, to the gentlewoman from Florida, Ms. Adams.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of H.R. 6185, the Local Courthouse Safety Act of 2012, because it will give local courthouses the resources to enhance their security and to do so at no cost to the federal taxpayer. My bill would allow for surplus metal detectors to be provided to local courthouses to enhance security. Like other regions throughout our nation, Central Florida has seen its share of courthouse attacks. Shortly before I joined the Orange County Sheriff's Office as a deputy sheriff, a courthouse shooting occurred. An armed gunman by the name of Thomas Provenzano walked into the Orange County Courthouse with a 12-gauge shotgun, an assault rifle, and a revolver, 38 caliber revolver, all loaded with live ammunition. Bailiff William Wilkerson, a 60-year-old veteran who retired from the Navy as a lieutenant commander, was killed on that day. Bailiff Harry Dalton, a 53-year-old father of 6, was shot in the face and left paralyzed from the shooting. He died 7 years later. Correctional Officer Mark Parker was only 19 years old at the time of the shooting. He survived the shooting but was paralyzed from the shoulders down and had to spend the rest of his life confined to a wheelchair. I introduced the Local Courthouse Safety Act because the things this bill does are important to me and to most Americans. I know the families of Bailiff Dalton and Bailiff Wilkerson who lost their lives as a result of the violence that day in the Orange County Courthouse, and remain friends with Officer Parker until he passed away a few years ago. And I am deeply aware of the grief they've had to live with all of these years. Since September 2010, there has been about 1 shooting per month at a local courthouse. So even though the shooting in Orange County happened 30 years ago, courthouse shootings are still happening all over this country, and innocent people are still dying. Those who are exercising their constitutional right of seeking justice in our courtrooms should not have to fear for their safety, and neither should our law enforcement officers, judges, advocates, and court personnel. It is my hope that this bill will help prevent horrific and senseless incidents of violence like this from happening in our local courthouses. I want to thank my colleagues on the Judiciary Committee for recognizing that we need to take courthouse security seriously and for joining me in this bipartisan effort to help prevent violence in local courthouses across this country. We need to give sheriffs and local courthouses access to the training, equipment, and resources they need to improve security. So I urge support for the bill and yield balance my time back to the Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman from Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of H.R. 6185, the Local Courthouse Safety Act. This measure will provide critical assistance to state and local governments to provide courthouse security. But to begin with, many state and local courthouses face serious security challenges. Serious violence often occurs at these facilities, but many courthouses across the nation still lack basic security protections such as metal detectors. H.R. 6185 responds to this critical problem by giving sheriffs as well as state and local courthouses access to training, equipment, and other resources to help them improve security. H.R. 6185 accomplishes these goals by making use of existing resources. This legislation requires the General Services Administration to make available to state and local courts at no cost except for shipping, handling, and maintenance, surplus security equipment that is used to detect weapons such as metal detectors, wands, and baggage screening devices. To qualify to receive such equipment, a state or local courthouse must simply have less security equipment than necessary to meet the security needs of that courthouse. Because these devices are surplus and not otherwise being utilized by any federal agencies, it is a wise use of taxpayer money to allow this equipment to be put into service at the state and local level. Another important aspect of the bill is that it expands the scope of grants awarded by the State Justice Institute to include improvement of the safety and security of state and local courts. As a result, H.R. 6185 strengthens the Institute's current authority to award grants to support education, training, and technical assistance projects to improve the administration of justice in the state courts. This measure addresses in a meaningful and constructive way the serious security challenges that state and local courthouses face. Not surprisingly, H.R. 6185 enjoys a broad range of support, including the National Sheriff's Association, the National Association for Court Management, the Conference of Chief Justices, the Conference of State Court Administrators, the American Judges Association, the National Court Reporters Association, and the Center for Judicial and Executive Security. I commend my colleague, the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Adams, for her work in developing the bill and urge my colleagues to support the legislation. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Texas.
No one else who wants to be heard on this particular bill. I'll reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Virginia.
It's my time. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Texas.
And Mr. Speaker, I'll yield back the balance of our time as well.
All time having been expired, the question is, will the House suspend the rules and pass H.R. 6185 as amended? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, 2/3 voting in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.